All right, welcome back. Day 3. We did back yesterday, some power cleans, some deadlifts, some pull-ups, and some kettlebell swings. Today we're going to be doing arms. So I'm just in the truck, finishing my pre-workout before I go into the gym. Today we're doing arms. Arm workouts are pretty short. I do a superset everything. So we're going to do a bicep exercise paired with a tricep exercise, and then that's it. Maybe 2 circuits of supersets. Pretty short, pretty sweet. I'll show you a bit more when we get in there. We're going to start with an incline dumbbell curl with an incline cable press down. I'll show you that. That's probably my favorite tricep exercise. And then the incline dumbbell curl gets you a good stretch as well in your biceps. And the pump is just crazy when you do like both sides at the same time. And then we'll probably do maybe one other thing and get out of there. It's pretty quick, but that's the goal with these 45 minutes. We don't have much time. So 45 minutes in and out, workouts designed for parents or families who don't have much time. So we'll get in the gym, get going, and we'll see you back.
All right, so starting off here, I do my shoulder warm up every workout that I'm doing something upper body. Just helps get my shoulders warmed up, so I don't get any sort of like bicep pain or anything like that, or shoulder pain when I'm doing my biceps. So I just showed a couple reps of each. But there's another video with the full warm-up there. So getting into the first part of the workout, this is my favorite tricep exercise. You set up a bench on an incline and then have the cable just above head height. And what you're pretty much doing is you're just going to press down to full lockout with your tricep. The reason I like this one more than doing it standing is, one, I'm able to get a much better stretch on my tricep at the top of the muscle. And then being on the bench, you're able to overload it a little bit more and get a bit more weight without losing form or control. It's a really, really good workout. I saw it online a couple weeks ago and decided I would start to try to do it. So I do my sets of that, and then immediately I pick up my dumbbells and I go into my incline dumbbell curl. Now my arms come out to the sides a little bit, but we're trying to get that full lengthening of the bicep down at the very bottom. And really feeling a good stretch and then a good squeeze up at the top. So for arm day, I do about 20 reps per set. That's the goal. Sometimes it's 12, sometimes it's 15. But in all my starting sets, I end up doing about 20 reps. And then I do about 3 sets roughly per exercise. I try to get about 8 sets total in for arms right now. So I ended up doing about 5 sets of this superset. And then we go on afterwards, which you'll see in a little bit, to a dumbbell spider curl and a barbell overhead extension. And I did about 3 sets of that. So we'll let it play out from here, and then we'll keep going. Just speeding up the footage here a little bit to 1.5 speed. I figured you get the idea of the pace that I'm going with my workouts, with my reps. Sorry, roughly a second pause at the top, second pause at the bottom, and then 1 to 2 seconds of movement. With the tricep, I really try to sometimes pause up at the top of the rep, like you can see there, to get a better stretch on it. And then with my bicep exercise, again, we're slowing down a little bit here just so you can get the regular pace. So 1, 2, up, 1, 2, up. So you can kind of get an idea for the tempo and the pace of the reps that we're going here. And with this one, I'm really trying to stick my chest up towards the roof of the gym. I find that if I do that, I can really get a much better stretch at the bottom. And again, just speeding up a little bit here. So you've already got the idea of the pace and the tempo for each rep. So we're speeding up a little bit here. What you'll see too, that I have a tendency to do, is on my sets, I'll do like a rest pause. So I'll get as many as I can, put the dumbbells, rest for a second, and then pick them back up, keep going, and try to get another 3 to 5 reps out of it. I find that just helps me push past failure a little bit more, get a little bit more squeeze out of it, and get the most out of the exercise. So we'll show you a couple more sets here. I ended up doing 5 total sets of kind of ranging anywhere from 12 to 20 reps on these. And you get the idea of what we're doing here, but it's a really, really, really good superset. The pump is crazy. You get a great stretch and a great squeeze in the triceps, and then a great stretch and your your biceps, and the pump is crazy. These incline dumbbell curls, they start off feeling super light, and then by the time you get to about 12 reps, just the burn in your bicep is next level. You can't keep going. You see, again, I had to take a little break, pick them back up, and keep going again. So I'll let this play out. We'll pick it back up in a minute when we get to our next exercise. You'll notice that some of the last few reps here I do with my biceps, I kind of pronate my wrist almost and turn, there you go, just like that, and turn my bicep in. I find that really helps me get to that full elongated stretch position and get the most stretch in my bicep. So sometimes every couple reps I'll do that and kind of hold it for a second at the bottom. If you look at your arm and you kind of flex it a little bit and you have your hand facing towards you and your hand away from you, you'll see that your bicep gets longer. So at the very bottom of the rep, what I'll do is I'll pull my palm away from me, I'll pronate my wrist, and that just allows your bicep to get into that full maximum extension and get a little bit extra stretch and a little bit extra burn at the end of each rep. Okay, moving on to our second superset of exercises. So this one, we're starting off with a dumbbell spider curl. With these, I hold the dumbbells closer together to the inside portion of each dumbbell. And then I really try to squeeze the dumbbells together and keep them in full contact the whole time. What that does is when I'm at the top of the rep there, my bicep is really supinated. Like my palm and my pinky is really turned up and almost out. And that helps me get a really good squeeze for the bicep peak at the top of each rep there. So again, we're holding it for about a second to a second and a half at the top of each rep and then coming down. And then sometimes too, again, I'm kind of pronating my wrist, turning my wrist almost inwards to really get a full stretch at the bottom of each rep. From there, we go immediately, we flatten the bench down, and I have a 50-pound easy bar here. And what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna put it overhead, and I'm gonna do my overhead tricep extensions. I really like to do for triceps, an exercise where I'm pushing down in front of me, and then an exercise where I get overhead. I find it just helps me get a full kind of feeling in my triceps, and get the most out of each one. So we'll let you finish off with these. I do show all the sets, and they're sped up here in a second. You get an idea. And then what I'm doing here as well is I'm going right from one set into the next. Very little rest time here. So this is basically a continuous set of, we're going back and forth, bicep to tricep, bicep to tricep. These ones are sped up. I take a little bit of break between my second set and my third set on this exercise, but we're just really trying to pump the bicep, pump the tricep, get a good stretch, get a good squeeze, and really feel that peak in the bicep contraction. All right, last exercise here and going on to forearms. This is by far my favorite and what I feel is the most effective way to hit your triceps. You can do wrist curls, you can do all sorts of stuff. I feel that just builds the mass in your wrist and your forearm the best. So what we do is we set up a barbell around shoulder height, and we put an exercise band around one side of the barbell. As you can see, that's what the orange band is there. We kind of loop it through itself. And then on the left side of the screen, you can see that we have a 45-pound plate as like a counterweight on the other side of the bar. And then we fed a 35-pound dumbbell through that band. And all I'm doing is I'm basically using like a wrist roller. You're doing the wrist roller, except with this way, you don't have to worry about holding the weight up at your eyes. You just get to get the benefit of the exercise out of it. So we go each side of the arm. You kind of hit when you pull towards you, you're kind of getting the top part of your forearm, and when you're doing away, you're kind of getting the underside of your forearm. The best by far exercise you can get.
Back in the truck after arm day, pretty good workout. So yeah, we did about 5 sets of the superset with the incline dumbbell curl and the incline cable press down. Went over to a dumbbell spider curl with I'm not really sure what you call it. I think a French press, or like basically an overhead tricep extension. I used an easy bar for it. You could do dumbbells though instead if you wanted to. Same with the spider curl. You could do I use dumbbells. Really trying to keep my hands supinated, like palms towards me as much as I could. I'm getting good squeeze in my bicep. You could use an easy bar or just a regular barbell for that as well though if you wanted to. And then I went over and did some forearms. The footage isn't great. Basically, you wrap an exercise band around one side of a barbell that's set up at around shoulder height, and then you put a counterweight. So for example, I used a 35-pound dumbbell for the exercise. So I put a 45-pound plate on the other side of the barbell, and then you just feed the dumbbell through the exercise band. And then essentially you're creating a wrist roller is what you're doing. And I do about 10 total reps, going like towards me and then away from me each time. 10 of each, and that's the workout. So that's arms. Nothing too crazy, but we get enough kind of supplemental work with our chest and back training. So that was workout for today. Again, we're just trying to be good enough. I'm not trying to be a bodybuilder or anything crazy. We're just trying to get exercise in, make the most of our time, and make the gym a little bit of a better place. So if that sounds like something you can get behind, comment, like, subscribe down below, and we'll keep going. Until next time, thanks for watching.